Well, this was abrupt. In fact, I don't even know. Oh, it happened. It works. Look at that. I'm more readier than I thought. Is readier even a word? Hello, everybody. Turn it down. It is Thursday, FTG Thursday. And boy, are there a lot of those today. I'm hoping that we get through this show because there's a ton to do. In fact, there's so much to do. Well, I just told Johnny, let's just stop this right now. Let's get into it. Play the intro.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only Dawg Knight.
Yeah, that's me. I'm so behind. I'm even still setting up the chat. But here we go. Start the show. Stop that music. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as Dawg Knight on the internet. And welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel on this Wait, what's today? It is Thursday, right? Yeah, Thursday, the 2nd of November, 2023. And, I had a little chuckle because, with all that's going on, the Biden administration stopped their days or whatever they're doing to make sure that they made a very important announcement, a very important proclamation about the importance of something. And I'm going to laugh about it today because in a way, it's a bit ridiculous. It's always, but it has to do with backlash though. Backlash. You know what backlash is, right? And we always worry about backlash. And wow, you probably already know what I'm talking about, but we're going to talk about it. So let's let me turn this up so I can hear myself. Let's get this thing started because wow, there's so much, and I won't get through it all. But it's FTG Thursday, and I had to find a few FTGs, so we'll do that. But first, we're going to say hi. First in the chat over in Rumble, of course, is Mr. Avocados Diablo, who gets the bell. And the only other person over there right now is Next Gen Troll. And that's because I started this without the 10-minute, 15-minute, whatever, pre-intro. It's not even an intro. It's just this countdown. And I was so late that I couldn't do it. I started the countdown before I even started the stream. So hopefully, is this working on every channel? Looks like it is. Good. It's working on Rumble. It's working on YouTube. I'm just guessing today. So anyway, I'm glad you all made it. It's a special day, FTG Thursday. Let's see who showed up on YouTube. First in the chat is, of course, Avocados Diablo. He still gets the bell. And also, Jimmy Das Hotep just showed up over on Rumble. Good morning, sir. Okay, on YouTube also, Mr. Kara Soldier's in the house. Aaron Meredith, fake news expert. Darren Root, #1, is here. My favorite Canadian Jaeger pony. Special Cat Acid. Boy, a lot of people showed up right away. Somnambule Nation, Ravon Harris, excuse me. And that's it so far because, I didn't give you a whole lot of time to jump in and the notifications are probably still going out. So anyway, I got my cup of reparations. This is in the happy 1000th cup that my daughter made for me for the 1000th episode of the show a few months ago, whatever that was. It was 100 episodes. Oh my gosh, it was 156 episodes ago. That is quite a while. Time flies when you're having fun. I do have one note here. I may be changing the time of the show sometime in the near future. I may be doing some extra work and may not be able to do the show in the mornings, but I'll figure it out. We'll worry about that later. Welcome Chicago Mike, who showed up in the chat there. Hello. If you're showing up, if you're not showing up, you probably don't see me here. Anyone name everyone on the cup? Oh no one ever did. That's right. We had the name everyone on the cup contest. And, now I forget this girl's name. I know everyone's name on here except for her. But let's see. Yeah, well, maybe I'll have to reveal that. No, nobody ever named everyone on the cup. They are all named Bob. I have decreed it. No. But most people got like Rakita. That's an easy one. Fauci's easy. Canon Hotep Jesus. A lot of people got them. Elon Musk, Zuby, Kyle Rittenhouse, Megan Fox. That was just a couple. I have to go remember who they are. Anyway, we'll do that another day. All right, let's get into this right now because I got so much stuff. Good morning, Attack Alpaca, by the way. I have so much stuff to go through. It's insane, the amount of news there is. Let me make sure everyone can see it. Okay, well, wrong one. There's Ace right there. All right, so I'm going to leave the aggregator up to today. JJ Septrum from Ace Spades, where I get a lot of today's stories, although I get a lot from Twitter too. Good morning, Plague Trucker Zach, or something like that, right? and Guns Cafe is here, formerly known as Reaccion Puerto Rico, but using his new handle. So let's get into it though, because it's FTG Thursday. We got a whole bunch of them today. We've got a whole bunch of stuff. But before, the other thing too, let's see who's. Thank you to Guns and Reaction Puerto Rico, aka Guns and Cafe. Also, Bishop, thanks for tweeting out the show. Are you here, Bishops? I don't know, but and I don't know which. Well, Bishop and there's Bishop and the Bishop, so I don't know who's who, or if they're the same person with two handles. But I appreciate you tweeting out the show. Also, Tyler F, thanks for retweeting the show. Please share the stream. That's big. And then also, if you want to sponsor the show, you can do that on pdognight.live. pdognight.live. 24 hours a day. Thank you to the people who've been doing that. So let's get into the news, though, because we got so much. I just have to get through it. A lot of things trending today. Number one, though. Well, not number one, but it was number one yesterday. Special emissary. Oh, I'm also Bishop. There are three of us who are in the community. Okay, well, cool. It's a community of bishops. Maybe you can, never mind. I was going to say something about scolding priests, but we're not going to do that. Anyway, let's talk about, unfortunately, the passing of, I wouldn't say a hero, but just someone I admired, even though he he did some crazy stuff while he was living. Mr. Bobby Knight is trending because Mr. Bobby Knight has passed away. Bobby Knight, the longtime coach of the Indiana Hoosiers, then later became a broadcaster, passed away yesterday, I believe. He had, now one of the greatest stories here is when he was coaching the Michael Jordan during the 1984 Olympics, which was kind of a wild story. So let me see here. I'm going to play this. I don't know if this is, who knows if this is copyright. I don't care.
But you, I think, have got to really be a flexible leader if you're going to be an effective leader. I walked into the locker room after the first half of our game with Spain in 1984 for the gold medal.
This is him.
We're ahead by 29 points. We've played basketball as well as the game can be played. Michael Jordan has played 12 minutes. Out of the 20, he has 11 rebounds, 9 assists,
good Lord,
and 19 points in 12 minutes. In my opinion, there's nobody that's ever played anything that can compare to Michael Jordan, with the possible exception of Jack Nicklaus and Babe Ruth. Michael Jordan is just the best there ever was at what he does by a considerable margin. So I'm walking across the floor with this 29-point lead as I look at the scoreboard, and I'm a great believer in the best 3 minutes of the game for us has got to be the first 3 minutes of the second half. But what the hell am I going to say? Hey, we got to get better. We're 29 points ahead. We got to win by 50 now.
Say? What do you say at that point?
These kids are going to be a little bit satisfied with themselves. They know how well they've played. And when I get to the locker room, I still haven't come up with an answer. I open the door, and the first guy I see is Jordan sitting in front of his locker. Idea light flashes. I say to myself, I'm going to get on Jordan's ass a little bit. And everybody else is going to say, if he's upset with Jordan, how's he feel about me? 12 minutes, 19 points, 11 rebounds,
a triple-double in 12 minutes.
And I have the stat sheet in my hand, and I walk over in front of Jordan, and I look down at him, and I say, Mike, when the hell are you going to set a screen? We got 4 guys out there screening when you're in the game, screening to get you open, screening to get each other open. Haven't seen you set a screen yet. The only way I get all 5 guys screening, Mike, is to get you the hell out of the game. Now, when are you going to set a screen?
Oh, my God.
All you've been doing so far, goddammit, is rebounding, passing, and scoring. You need to screen, Mike. Now, Jordan,
what a great
all
story.
seen the grin. I mean, it's the greatest grin in the world. Doesn't quite use all of his grin in this circumstance, but he looks up at me and he grins a little bit and he says, Coach, didn't I see last week where you said
Simon
I was
Wolfwood.
the quickest player you'd ever been around? I said, Mike, what the hell has that got to do with you screening? Coach, I think I'm setting them quicker than you can see them out there.
All right, that's a great story from Bobby Knight.
Well, I was flexible enough to look at Jordan and say, then, God damn it, slow him down a little bit so I can see him.
All right. So anyway, great story with Bobby Knight. Rest in peace, Bobby Knight. Great coach from the Indiana Hoosiers. Okay, that was longer than I meant to do, so everything else is going to have to go faster today. Moving on. Also trending is Islamophobia, and this is the topic of the day. And I'm going to do it real quick, but, you know, with everything happening here, let me stop here. Let me just stop here. So with everything happening in Israel, with Hamas going in and basically committing Israel's Pearl Harbor, killing 1,400 people in the state of Israel, and Israel retaliating in the war, and all the protesters out in the big cities around the world protesting Israel, and all the people, you know, making threats to Jewish people, and all the people, you know, stating their hate and whatever for Jewish people. The Biden administration thought the most important thing to come out with yesterday was a statement on Islamophobia. Ah, yes, the backlash. The backlash is always more important than what happened. And so yesterday we get Kamala Harris going out in the front of the stage and making a little speech on Islamophobia. And some people are just ridiculing the hell out of this. In fact, God said, according to the FBI director, Jews make up 2.4% of the U.S. population, but are the targets of 60% of hate crimes. This is why it is imperatively important to fight Islamophobia, according to the White House. And what is this? Islamic terrorists have carried out more than 44,191 terrorist attacks since 9/11. But it is the religion of peace. And yes, we must worry about the backlash of Islamic hate. Now, I don't condone Islamic hate, but, you know, it isn't very important. Now, it's funny. This is the woman ITV invited to talk about Islamophobia this week and how it is tough to live in Britain, where she is on the day... Here she is on the day of the Hamas massacre. So they brought her on to talk about Islamophobia, and here she is on the day of the Hamas massacre.
Nothing will ever be able to take back this moment.
Look at her smiling.
This moment of triumph, this moment of resistance, this moment of surprise.
The moment of murdering as many Israelis as they possibly can.
Entity. Nothing ever.
She's so excited that they murdered 1,400 people. So anyway, and that means Kamala Harris is also trending. And gosh darn it, I guess I'm going to listen to part of this. And Juanita Broderick, the victim of Bill Clinton, says nobody gives a rat's ass what Kamala has to say. She's the most incompetent, daft VP in the history of this nation. Well, I don't think VPs necessarily have to be competent, because they're really not supposed to be doing anything anyway, except once in a while, covering the Senate when there's a vote that's a tie. But here's Kamala Harris and the very important message. Colin Ruck, just in, as Jewish students are being targeted and attacked on college campuses across the nation led by left-wing radicals, VP Kamala Harris launched a strategy to counter Islamophobia. Yes, it is remarkable. Kamala, who's done practically nothing for 2 years, says the White House is seeing an uptick in anti-Muslim attacks. Really? I wonder where those are. Hello, Annalyn. Today, okay, here she is. Let's listen to this. If I can stand 3 minutes and 41 seconds, I will do my best. But I can't guarantee we're going to listen to this whole thing. I can guarantee it'll be in the link so you can find it yourself. If you want to listen to the rest, let's see how much of this I can get through.
Our nation was founded on the fundamental principle that all people should have the freedom to live, to worship, and to be, without fear of violence or persecution.
How about the Jews?
Every person has the right to live safe from violence, hate, and bigotry.
The right.
And for those reasons and so many more, President Joe Biden and I have a duty.
Yes, you have a duty.
The people of our nation safe.
How are you keeping them safe?
To condemn.
Wait a minute. How are you keeping them safe? We got a border that's overflowing, by the way.
Unequivocally.
Aren't you the border czar? Don't you have a border to worry about, Ms. Harris, Vice President Harris? Good God.
And forcefully, all forms of hate.
All forms of hate.
Since we took office, President.
All forms of hate? Are you sure? Because there's some people in Congress showing a little hate these days. Real quick, thank you, Cryptic. I'm going to stop for a moment and acknowledge this very generous Streamlabs super chat from Cryptic. And Cryptic, that makes you
You are
the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you, Cryptic, who says, I'm sorry, we need music, maybe. What's going on there? Ah, there we go. Why is there, I don't want that. Here, let's try this. We'll try something else. Why is... Thank you, Cryptic. Dropping a big bullet in the tip jar saying, since Camel Toe Hairy Ass is worried about hatred, what about against the Christians, Jews, and Asians? Nah, the religion of pieces and baby parts are the real victim. Well, that's a little harsh. Thank you, Cryptic, for that big bullet and that moment of wisdom. There we go. I'll turn the music off now. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. If you want to sponsor the show, it's no, that way. pdognight.live over there. I'm trying to figure it out in this. Anyway, good morning, Bookwormatic, by the way. All right, let's see what else she says, because she's, oh, can I?
Biden and I have fought to uphold that duty.
Oh, yeah.
Over the past decade, America has seen a rise in attacks on houses of worship. So in response, we expanded
Oh, yeah, like right now, a lot of synagogues are being defaced. How about that?
To protect houses of worship.
Wait, whoa. They're going to throw money at it? Did she just say?
Attacks on houses of worship. So in response, we expanded funding to protect houses of worship.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Expanded funding to protect houses of worship from violence. Really? I didn't know the federal government was funding money for protection of houses of worship. First of all, we're all the state, church and state people. Okay, that should be a local thing. Here's an idea. Stop trying to take away people's ARs and let them protect their own churches and houses of worship. Okay, it's their freedom to do that too. That's what the Second Amendment's for. The Second Amendment can protect the First Amendment. See? Remember, people say that all the time. How about let the Second Amendment protect the First Amendment, and don't worry about government funding, unless, of course, you're going to fund churches to buy a bunch of ARs and synagogues, of course. But right now, gun purchases in highly populated areas of Jewish peoples are on the rise. We read about that the other day. But anyway, I just want to I want to hear the rest of it just to see how stupid this is.
After a surge in hate during the pandemic, in particular, anti-Asian hate.
Yeah, the anti-Asian hate wasn't from who you... Never mind. I'm not going to go to it. There were crimes against Asians. I don't know if it was because of hate, but there were certainly a lot of crimes.
President Biden signed the COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act.
Oh, great.
To improve the reporting of hate crimes.
Oh, to improve the reporting of hate crimes. Well, did we determine those were hate crimes or are they just crimes?
And to ensure hate crimes are investigated and thoroughly.
Oh, yes.
Earlier this year.
That's because that's the federal government's job. See, the federal government should be micromanaging local crime. Okay, got it.
Historic rise in anti-Semitic attacks. We also
by who?
The first national strategy to counter anti-Semitism.
Okay.
And to make clear, taking on hate is a national priority. President Biden and I held the first White House summit.
But she's just reading. She didn't even sound like this is real.
Violence, and we brought together religious leaders.
It's funny because they always blame it on the tiki torch guys, but it's funny how very little of the violence comes from the tiki torch types, right? It's weird. It's weird. A lot of it's just crime, but and if crime rises, if you have a highly populated area populated with certain ethnicities and the crime rises, there's going to be more crime against ethnicities. But maybe they can't figure that out because they want to call it a victim thing and be able to point fingers in places that they probably shouldn't be pointing them.
Leaders, community leaders, and survivors to continue our work.
Yes. Okay. I can't. The point is, in fact, did this say they spent the whole time? Well, no, because I didn't get to the Islamophobia part, did I? I'm sorry. Let's get to her point.
For years, Muslims and
here it is.
Another important step forward in our fight against hate.
Okay, now
For years,
for
Muslims
years.
in America and those perceived to be Muslim have endured a disproportionate number of hate-fueled attacks.
Oh, really? Disproportionate how? Disproportionate as compared to the Jewish people right now? Or in general? Jewish people, if the so-called hate crimes, right? Jewish people are the victims of 60% of all of them. And they're 2.4% of the population. So if you want to talk disproportionate, holy shitballs, Batman. Is Batman here? I didn't see Batman yet. So anyway.
Result of the Hamas terrorist attack in Israel and the humanitarian crisis in Gaza, we have seen an uptick in anti-Palestinian, anti-Arab, anti-Semitic, and Islamophobic incidents.
Okay. Notice her list there. Let's take a look at her list again. We have seen an uptick in anti-Palestinian,
anti-Arab,
anti-Semitic, and Islamophobic incidents. Have we now? So 3 of the 4 are related to the Palestinians, and it's actually 4 out of 4 because a lot of the ethnic Palestinians or that region are Semitic technically. So all 4 of them have to do with, but the hate, the people out there screaming hate shit are screaming it because of Jewish people, at Jewish people, about Jewish people, around Jewish people, towards Jewish people. What are you talking about?
Across America.
What are you talking about?
The brutal attack of a Palestinian American woman who was Muslim and the killing of her 6-year-old son.
Oh, and you know what? Was that even hate related or was that just crime? I don't even know. I guess I didn't hear that. So you got one incident that you're going to name when there's people in the streets yelling their support for Hamas, who just created, in most eras, what Hamas did, and in most circles, if it were not Hamas, what they did would be considered a major war crime. Really, no one's talking about the war crimes of Hamas, are they? It's amazing.
A senseless act of violence.
Yes, a senseless act of violence. And look, that is a senseless act of violence. Fuck that asshole who attacked the woman and killed her kid. No qualms about it. Notice how easy that is? See how easy it is that I can condemn the attacking of that woman and the killing of her 6-year-old son. Absolutely heinous. Now, can I say the same about all the people waving Palestinian flags right now? Can they do it that easy too? Can they do it that easy? Hang on, I need to pause here for a moment. I have to take this call. Hang on. Sorry about the interruption there, but it was a call I had to take. All right, real quick. So anyway, the idea that this is there's like this epidemic of anti-Muslim, anti-Islamophobic, issues out there. It's just insane. With the people yelling in the streets in support of Hamas, and it's funny because a lot of those people, including people I know and love, are justifying what Hamas did, which anyone else in any other time would be a war crime. So I can't listen to Kamala anymore. Sorry, can't do it. Yeah, it was Kamala on the phone. It was the FBI wanting to search my house. All right, moving on. Other things trending right now. Republican, on this kind of note, Republican Congressman Chip Roy is trending now for a couple reasons. One, Chip Roy thinks we should stop funding the UN. If I could vote for Chip Roy, I would. Someone says, and also Chip Roy had a little bit of a fiery speech on the House regarding what's going on over there. Now some people are call Chip Roy a traitor. That's amazing. That's because he but for some reason he voted. What he said, he voted with Democrats against the measure to censure Rashida Tlaib, which I think was a mistake. I want to show his speech on the House floor, though. And it doesn't look like they're putting it on here. Let's see what this section up here is. This thing jumped. Let's see what he says here. Oh, this is when he was talking about Mike Johnson.
But the only way that Mike Johnson can be successful as Speaker is if 221 Republicans rally around him in defense of the Constitution of the United States and the rule of law and actually do what they campaigned on doing.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's probably not going to happen because there's those few little, I wouldn't necessarily call them rhinos. Now, this is crazy. This is it, though. Once again, the many faces of Chip Roy. He couldn't even vote to censure Rashida Tlaib. And someone's going to, I'm going to primary the hell out of you in the Hill Country, Chip Roy. Yeah, he was one of the Republicans who voted against censure, which I'm not sure. I'm not sure why. But there's another, on that note of votes that went away differently than I thought they would. We'll get to that in a moment. Other reasons Republicans are trending, though, Tommy Tuberville also has a couple senators have proposed defunding the UN. Senators Mike Lee and Tommy Tuberville introduced legislation to stop U.S. funding of the United Nations. Who else supports this? I'm just going to raise my hand there. Now, unfortunately, too, Lindsey Graham, Joni Ernst, Todd Young, and Dan Sullivan, all four senators, are potentially planning to backstab Senator Tommy Tuberville for holding up Biden's DEI military appointments. Just in case you didn't already despise Lindsey Graham enough. So Molly Hemingway says, I'm hearing McConnell deputies and allies, including Lindsey Graham, Joni Ernst, Todd Young, and Dan Sullivan, told colleagues today they're planning an attack on Tommy Tuberville's hold on military promotions modeled after Elizabeth Warren's attack a few months ago. Tuberville has blocked unaccountable, review-free, unanimous consent for military promotions, all due to the Pentagon's completely illegal abortion funding policy. During his hold on this easy approval that would otherwise occur without even a vote, it's been discovered that more than 40% of the nominees are beholden to DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Oh, equity? What's happening when you hear the word equity? Run, and other left-wing ideology at odds with effective fighting force. The plan to run interference for Biden administration and its woke Pentagon is reportedly scheduled for 6 p.m. tonight, just an FYI. We'll see who exactly is involved and what happens. So, and you know how that goes. They are, they're going to, the softies in the Senate are going to capitulate because they're probably getting bad reviews in the New York Times and the Washington Post. So there you go. Now, and for example, here's Lindsey Graham. Who is everybody's favorite. Here it is.
You've just denied this lady a promotion. You did that.
Okay.
All of us are ready to promote her because she deserves to be promoted.
Oh,
she had nothing to do with this policy.
Now notice what Lindsey Graham does there. There are several holds up, but he brings out the woman because, oh, you denied this lady a promotion. Whiny bitch. Not her, Lindsey Graham.
Let me say it again.
Hello, Selector Boy.
Everybody in this body could find an issue with any administration they don't agree with. And what we're going to do is open up Pandora's box. Today is abortion policy. If we take back the White House, we'll go back to the Mexico City policy, limiting dollars to be given to overseas entities that are engaged in the abortion business. Some pro-choice people don't like that. What would happen if they put a hold on all the officers?
Oh, you mean like Elizabeth Warren did?
With the Republican administration.
Like Elizabeth Warren did?
This has not been
Lindsey,
done.
come on. You know what happens in the Senate.
No matter where you believe it or not, Senator Tuberville, this is doing great damage to our military. I don't say that lightly. I've been trying to work with you for 9 months. Folks, if this keeps going, people are going to leave. Let me tell you how the system works. You have 18 months, I think, from the time you're promoted to pin on. And if you don't make that gate, your time and grade up or out rule.
There's nothing stating they can't extend the time. Now, do I agree with what Tuberville's doing? I don't know. I haven't looked into that closely, but he's probably right if they're doing something that's illegal and overstepping the laws in various states. You know, what are you going to do? Nobody's owed a promotion either. That's true, Robert Banks. Good morning, sir. So anyway, that's why Tommy Tuberville is trending. Also, Senate Republican. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Let's skip here. Six Flags is trending. Six Flags is trending. Six Flags is trending because apparently Six Flags is announcing that they're doing a strategic combination or merger with Cedar Fair. Now, if you're not familiar with Cedar Fair is another amusement park company. Their most famous place or famous park is Cedar Point in, is it Sandusky, Ohio, I think? That is it's the roller coaster mecca of the world. We went to Cedar Point with our kids when my kids were like 11 and 9. I think that's how old they were. And holy smokes, did they have some great roller coasters there. So anyway, that's why Six Flags is trending. But apparently someone here says these guys were ready to go work at Six Flags. I don't even know what this is. Oh, I see. What is this? Okay, this is
taking 5 Home Depot workers to Six Flags.
Okay. Oh, this is a TikTok video. They thought they were going to work, but he took them to Six Flags. Okay. Well, anyway, we're not going to watch that. It'll be in the links. Also trending right now, George Santos. George Santos was supposed to be. They had a vote on expelling George Santos. And it failed. Now, what's interesting about this, the resolution failed 179 to 213 with about 22, I think, or 28 people not voting in Congress. But what's interesting about this, just in the House overwhelmingly rejected a resolution to expel serial fraudster George Santos, 213 to 179. Now, this person's saying, what a disgrace. However, what's fascinating about it, here's the vote. 24 Republicans voted to expel him, 182 did not, and 4 voted present, 11 didn't vote. Democrats, 156 to 32 against expelling him, 11 present, 13 not voting. So there's another, 24 that didn't vote, the Democrats. And the total 180 to 214, so it still wouldn't have got, even if all the Democrats had voted to expel him, they still wouldn't have got the votes. But what's interesting is 32 Democrats voted not to expel him, and one of those people was Jamie Raskin. And so Jamie Raskin posted this, who said, and this is Brooklyn Dad Defiant, that weirdo, said, I tell you, I was miffed about 31 Democrats voting not to expel George Santos. But then when I saw Jamie Raskin's statement below on why he voted not to expel, it totally made sense to me. I still don't like it, but he's 100% right about setting a bad precedent. So Jamie Raskin, did Jamie Raskin do something on principle? He says, I'm a Constitution guy. The House has expelled 5 people in our history, 3 for joining the Confederacy as traitors to the Union, and 2 after they were convicted of criminal offenses. Santos has not been criminally convicted yet of the offenses cited in the resolution, nor has he been found guilty of ethics offenses in the House internal process. This would be a terrible precedent to set, expelling people who have not been convicted of a crime and without internal due process. If and when Santos is convicted of these serious criminal offenses or ethics charges, I will certainly vote to expel. Until then, it's a very risky road to go down, and we have to stick by due process and the rule of law, as obvious as the eventual results seem. I can think of 4 or 5 Democratic members the Republicans would like to expel without a conviction or adverse ethics findings. We can't abandon due process and the rule of law in the House of Representatives. My God, am I cheering for Jamie Raskin today? So anyway, impressive speakers list. This must, oh, that was from before. Okay, so anyway, that's why those 2 are trending. So no FTG for Jamie Raskin today. And look, I'm going to say right now, FTG George Santos, but I just spelled it wrong. But Jamie Raskin's kind of right. I mean, unless he's convicted of something, that's a bad precedent because both sides of the aisle would love to expel people just because they don't like each other. All right, Cannon is trending, and I don't mean my friend Cannon Hotep. Judge Cannon down in Florida on the Trump docs case. Let's see, is this a thread or not by Julie Kelly? It's not. That she just has several posts. To emphasize, Trump lawyers told Judge Cannon this afternoon they have evidence that the Biden White House collaborated with NARA, the Department of Justice, and intel agencies to determine which documents to include in Jack Smith's indictment. Also to emphasize, Trump's lawyers told Judge Cannon they discovered a June 2023 letter asking the Department of Energy to remove Trump's active security clearance a few weeks after Smith handed down classified document indictment. Just left the classified docs hearing in Judge Cannon's courtroom. She will consider a modified trial schedule given numerous issues, including voluminous discovery delays, late delivery of secure locations to review evidence, and Trump conflicting trial schedules. So that case may be being postponed. Hello, Brent Hayes, by the way. And then if Judge Cannon postpones the May 20 trial for classified docs case, all the usual suspects will caterwaul that she's a Trump judge doing his bidding. But this is by design Jack Smith's fault. He brought the January 6th indictment nearly 2 months after the classified docs indictment. Let's see. I'm sorry. No, there you go. In between, he filed a superseding indictment in Florida, adding more charges and a co-defendant essentially resetting the clock. He then pushed for a March trial in the January 6th case, an expedited schedule without precedent in J6 trials. In fact, Smith pushed for the trial to start on the same day as a pre-scheduled hearing in Cannon's courtroom. Smith's team claims D.C. trial will take 4 to 6 weeks, unlikely since jury selection should take several days. Trump lawyers argued today that the trial could last more than 2 months, pushing it right to the beginning of the Florida trial. So not to mention Smith's foot dragging and discovery. So Jack Smith's been dragging his feet on a lot of the discovery stuff, and they're complaining about that. Now, it's funny because looks like some people are mad. This Rex Headroom, the Donald Trump Judge Cannon love affair continues, makes you wonder who Trump uses to back channel with her to get these favorable unconstitutional rulings that literally ignore all law and precedent. Well, that's not so. What do you mean? She's a judge. She gets to make decisions based on her interpretation of the law. And if you want to appeal it, fucking appeal it. Shut up. So interesting, though, this Ben Meiselas, I don't know if he's from that group, but anyway, Judge Chutkan and Judge Cannon in Florida each issued rulings on CIPA Section 4 at essentially the same time in separate Trump federal prosecutions with opposite rulings. Chutkan followed the law. Cannon didn't. Really? Are you sure about that? Are you a lawyer? You know, he's the founder of the Midas Touch. He's one of those, he's a left-wing activist. So they're not happy about Judge Cannon, and the Republicans aren't happy with Judge Chutkan. And I'm not happy with Jack Smith. In fact, FTG Jack Smith. All right, moving on. Ben Carson is trending. Apparently, he just endorsed Donald Trump for president, and people are considering him a possible VP candidate. I don't know. Our nation is desperate. But what he said is, here's Ben Carson. Our nation is desperate in need for a strong leadership, a president who fights for the American people, our freedoms, our safety, and our future. Donald Trump is that leader, and I'm proud to give him my full endorsement for president of the United States today. Join me in this fight to make America great again. So that's Ben Carson endorsing Donald Trump. Good morning, Black Hebrews. You're right. How you doing?
That's right.
Poppy is trending. Now, for those of you who live on the other side of the pond, apparently some guy, this Keir Starmer, he's the MP for Holborn and St. Pancras and leader of the Labour Party. He's the Labour Party leader. And apparently he was making a speech at Chatham House. And then he went and talked to a group about Islamophobia and took the poppy off. Now, the poppy, isn't that a symbol of, isn't that a symbol of honoring your war dead? Isn't that what Poppy Day is? Someone explain Poppy Day to me. But apparently, when he went to talk in front of about Islamophobia, he no longer wore the poppies. And so people are questioning that. In fact, a couple people down here mentioned the same thing. Oh my God, thank God. Again, meet Keir Starmer. He removes his poppy to speak to his Muslim voters. Why is that? Same jackets, shirt and tie, tweeted within hours of each other, but no poppy. So poppy's a symbol of World War I. Okay, thank you. Yeah, apparently, for whatever reason, he didn't want to wear it for the Muslim audience, and I don't understand. Not Poppy Day. Don't scroll. Oh no, this one though, this one's kind of humorous too. This is this pronoun gal. She has a YouTube channel that she talks about how to use alternative pronouns, and it's really funny because it's so stupid, but it's the same video over and over, just using all the different pronouns. Apparently she got kicked out of a bar because she was making a scene about pronouns. Here she is.
What to do, but there was a really bad experience.
Oh no.
Basically, I was just getting a drink at the bar, and they called both Azul and I ladies. After they were done drinking the drink, I went up and I was like, some people don't refer to themselves as ladies, but it's okay that you didn't know. And in a gay bar, so I should feel safe. Too bad, turned it around. They got so mad at me, and they took the drink away from my wife and I. He hit the bar,
Wait a minute, whoa. Wait, did you just refer to your partner as a wife? But you can't call them ladies in a gay bar? Oh, good Lord.
Because he was like, are you serious? You're doing the same thing to me. How? And then they kicked us out. I didn't think that was gonna happen. How am I supposed to feel? This was the first time that I've told somebody I felt brave enough to tell somebody my identity. I just wanted to let
nobody
him
cares
know
about your identity. You just wanted to make your drink and get paid.
I told him it's okay.
Hello,
but
John
Kessler.
Kessler.
He was still mad.
Anyway, so that's under the poppy trending thing. All right, moving on. Let's see what else. Fauci's trending. Dr. Anthony Fauci, the greatest doctor on the history of the planet, Dr. Anthony Fauci. And apparently, you remember all the stuff about the possibility of the lab leak and the possibility that because the stupid 19 might have been manufactured, and there's more and more evidence coming out. There's more and more evidence coming out that the funding of gain of function research, that he was all up in it. Not doing it, but he was all up in it. Yeah, I already got the FTG Fauci's reveal. Oh yeah, because it's ladies' night and the feeling's right. Yeah, it was ladies' night at the bar. Anyway, revealed Anthony Fauci run lab in Montana experimented with coronavirus strain shipped in from Wuhan a year before COVID pandemic began. Now what? They have evidence of that? Oh my gosh. And obviously, Rand Paul was once labeled a conspiracy theorist for saying a lab leak probably caused COVID. Now the FBI and Energy Department says it is likely. That's from a week ago. Here it explains how Anthony Fauci and other officials tried to cover up the origin to protect their reputations and funding. So, FTG, Dr. Anthony Fauci, of course, that should be a given. I mean, he's just a piece of shit. All right, now I have a couple more tweets about the White House and the really weird, suddenly first ever strategy, national strategy to counter Islamophobia. And Greg Price has a good point here, among an unprecedented wave of anti-Semitism all over America, the Biden White House decided that now was the time to announce the first ever national strategy to counter Islamophobia. 60% of hate crimes are targeted Jews, just 9% targeted Muslims, and there are more Muslims in the country than there are Jews. So we're just, it makes no sense whatsoever. So here it is for immediate release, statement from the White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre on President Biden's establishment of the first ever national strategy to counter Islamophobia. Now, let's just go through her statement very quickly. President Biden ran for office to restore the soul of our nation. Well, I think the soul of our nation was doing just fine without Joe Biden. In fact, I think we were better off. But he is unequivocal. There is no place for hate in America against anyone, period. So he's out there policing all the people with the Palestinian flags running around, talking about how much they hate the Jews. Or is he doing that? Oh, wait, no. Today, he and Vice President Harris are announcing that their administration will develop the first ever U.S. national strategy to counter Islamophobia in the United States. We will look forward to continuing our work with community leaders, advocates, members of Congress, and more to develop the strategy. Oh, well, how about Rashida Taliban and Ilhan Omar? That'd be perfect. Which will be a joint effort led by the Domestic Policy Council and National Security Council. Domestic Policy Council? Who is that? Isn't that I think there's something about that. I can't remember. To counter the scourge of Islamophobia and hate in all its forms. For too long, Muslims in America and those perceived to be Muslim, such as Arabs and Sikhs, have endured a disproportionate number of hate-fueled attacks. Well, disproportionate how? They're more than 9% of the population. Are they? I don't know. But disproportionate? What does that even mean? And what does that mean? What does it mean, hate-fueled attacks? Okay, I'm curious if they can define that. And other discriminatory incidents. We all mourn the recent barbaric killing of Wadden al-Fahmy. Again, they're going with this the 6-year-old kid and his mother, which absolutely is correct. We should mourn that. That is awful. But oh my gosh, the hundreds of incidents against Jewish people, and this is what you come up with. Today's announcement is the latest part of President Biden's directive last year to establish an interagency group to increase and better coordinate U.S. government efforts to counter Islamophobia, anti-Semitism, and related forms of bias and discrimination within the United States. Moving forward, the President, Vice President, and our entire administration will continue working to ensure every American has the freedom to live their lives in safety and without fear for how they pray, what they believe, or who they are. Well, yeah, that's concern. All right, let's go through headlines and get the heck out of here. Front Page Magazine, dumb college kids have been supporting mass murder for hundreds of years. We broke up the KKK, and it might be time to break up Harvard. So this is by Daniel Greenfield. Basically, this article is telling us about how, it's funny. For whatever reason, on college campuses, when things... They tend to support murder. For example, remember all the Che Guevara shirts? And he's a mass murderer. Well, now they're marching for Hamas, which is, oh boy, has a charter of just ending all the Jews. And so that's a great article, but I'm not going to go through it. But it'll be in the links today. By the way, the links will be popping in the chat right after the show during the outro, and also in the description of the video that shows up after this show's over. In legal insurrection, the Israeli parliament members break down after watching videos of Hamas atrocities on October 7th. Members of the parliament, the Knesset, broke down in tears, and one fainted as they watched a 45-minute video of the brutality Hamas unleashed on Israelis on October 7th. They likely saw videos shown to journalists. It's amazing. Yesterday when I read the article or saw the headline about how this is Israel's Pearl Harbor, pretty much. And it's completely barbaric. I am loath to watch any of those videos. They're available if you want to really see them, though. But they're brutal. They're brutal. In Breitbart, and a Hamas official though has made a statement that, well, here's a statement. He's saying that it's in Arabic. His statement is: a senior political official in the Palestinian Hamas terror organization told Lebanese television last week that the group intends to repeat its October 7th terror attack until Israel is annihilated. Well, now you understand why Israel is surgically destroying everything that is Hamas, especially the tunnels. Because I blame the entire thing on Hamas. Sorry, I do. And if you can convince me otherwise, good luck. It ain't happening. So he said, and his quote is, here it is: Ghazi Hamad of the Hamas Political Bureau said on October 24, 2023, to show on Lebanon that Hamas is prepared to repeat the October 7th Al-Aqsa flood operation time and again until Israel is annihilated. He added that Palestinians are willing to pay the price and that they are proud to sacrifice martyrs. They love death, man. Not the Palestinian people, but Hamas. They love death. I'm just saying. Hamas said that Palestinians are the victims of the occupation. There is no occupation. The occupation of Gaza ended in 2006. They're claiming that Israel being on the Israeli land that has been partitioned by multiple jurisdictions and war is occupation of Palestinian land. Oh, the land that was worthless until the Israelis found a way to make it arable land? Interesting. Everything we do is, and then he says, everything we do is justified. We must teach Israel a lesson, and we will do this again and again. The Al-Aqsa flood is just the first time, and there will be a second, a third, a fourth, because we have determination, the resolve, the capability to fight. We will have to pay a price, yes, and we are ready to pay it. We are often called a nation of martyrs, and we are proud to sacrifice martyrs. So they're proud to sacrifice those kids that are getting killed, and that's why they keep them in the line of fire. The existence of Israel is illogical. Really, go read you might want to go read the Quran. Israel's been there 6,000 years. The existence of Israel is what causes all that pain, blood, and tears. It is Israel, not us. We are victims of the occupation, period. Therefore, nobody should blame us for the things we do. On October 7th, October 10th, October 1 millionth, everything we do is justified. So, this may not end soon unless Israel completely wipes out Hamas, and it may have to happen. A matter of good versus evil. Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, champions Israel. Speaking with Fox News, Kayleigh McEnany, House Speaker Mike Johnson minced no words about the necessity of providing aid to Israel as it fights the terrorist group Hamas, saying this is a matter of good versus evil. The problem is the Biden administration thinks they're going to veto a standalone Israel funding bill. Now, I don't even know, again, did Israel ask for the funding? I still haven't heard that part. We're just all of a sudden going to throw money to Israel. And Israel, again, if they ask for it, fuck, we're giving shit to Ukraine. Why not Israel? But he wants to give $60 more billion to Ukraine and only $14.5 billion to Israel. And so the House is voting on the Israel as a standalone bill. Biden wants it as a sort of omnibus type bill for funding all the little shit that he came up with. And so it's funny. And then they're saying, oh, it's a danger to our national security to only fund this one bill. Fuck them. Go ahead, Mike. Just do it the way you're going to do it and see what happens. In illegal insurrection, Biden says American Gaza secured safe passage through the Rafah border crossing. I hope this is right. Joe Biden announced that the United States has finally secured safe passage for Americans and wounded Palestinians. God. So how many of those wounded Palestinians are not really wounded and are just people they need to get out of there to do some other shit. But through the Rafah border crossing into Egypt, we expect American citizens to exit today, and we expect to see more depart over the coming days, Biden wrote in a post on X. No, he didn't. His handlers wrote the X post. Biden doesn't know how to use Twitter yet. We won't let up working to get Americans out of Gaza, which means they've already stopped. State Department spokesman Matthew Miller said later during a press briefing that there are around 400 Americans in Gaza with whom we are in communication who have expressed a desire to leave, and that there are a number of American citizens who have crossed through Rafah and are in Egypt today. So good if they're actually doing it. Get the Americans who want out of there out of there. And Breitbart, Hamas terrorist attack ignites open hatred of Jews around the world. We're seeing it everywhere. And it kicked the lid off hell and invaded Israel. Okay, whatever. The Hamas attacks program, everything from the name to the historical definition, have left Jewish people reeling from a multitude of threats. And there's a few examples, recent examples of Jews being publicly vilified, and in some cases attacked simply for their faith and belief Israel has every right to exist. In Germany, segments of the Jewish population in Berlin are being forced to consider a question many once thought unthinkable in the wake of the atrocities committed by Adolf Hitler and his Nazi followers and the subsequent promises of never again. Is it time to leave Germany? But it's happening in Germany, in France, in Australia, in the United Kingdom, in Russia, in South Africa, and here in the United States, where Jews are being threatened, being vilified, being attacked for being Jewish because of what's going on in Israel. There's full lineup in the article. Also this is great in Breitbart. 9 non-binary City of New York professor filmed ripping down missing Israeli posters and attacking an onlooker. A non-binary college educator went viral after attacking a bystander who recorded her ripping down posters of Israelis who were taken hostage by Hamas. Callan Zimmerman, a biological female who identifies with they-them pronouns, don't care, was listed as an adjunct professor with the City University of New York system until backlash resulted in her online biography being taken down. Disturbing footage taken by a couple of onlookers shows Zimmerman tearing down signs of missing civilians who were kidnapped by Hamas terrorists during the October 7th attack. In the video, she tells them to go colonize somewhere else, and so this is it right here.
You guys are so fucking lame.
You are fucking lame.
Look what you're doing.
Go colonize somewhere else.
Oh, go colonize somewhere else. Yeah. Well,
What a shame.
I don't think they recognize non-binary in Palestine.
Shame on you. Free Palestine.
So anyway, they've taken her off the roster apparently, and they've got several videos of her doing stupid shit. On legal insurrection, and just a regular guy, meet the New York construction worker who confronted a man tearing down Israeli hostage photos. This is the guy.
This is how the superstars. No, go ahead, just sit whatever you just told me.
No, I'm not a superstar. I'm just a regular guy who didn't like what I saw, and it shouldn't be celebrated what I did. It should be normal. Everyone should react like that. This shouldn't be a news story because someone doesn't like posters of murdered children and kidnapped children being taken down. This should be the...
So anyway, what happened here is that some of the New Yorkers were pissed off that these people were doing this nonsense. Let me, oh shoot, I don't want to do that. I want to just play it there, but here it is. In Forest Hill, Queens.
You rip it off. Why do you rip it off? Put it back. Why do you rip it off? Put it back. What? Show me what you're holding. So, yeah, keep it on. No, what are you doing? You know where they are right now? Do you have any idea where they are right now?
Now watch. Here's what happens.
All right. I'm a veteran. I'm telling you. All right. Don't do it. I'm not fucking Jewish. He's not Jewish. I don't know if he is or not. Doesn't fucking matter. This is fucking the USA. It's New York City. You don't have a fucking right to touch that shit. This is a free country. You can wave your Palestine flag and say death to the Jews or America whenever you want. But we can put up fucking signs. Okay? Then don't rip that down. You are doing something. You're offending us, motherfucker. Yeah, you are. When you throw that on the floor, you're littering the
So anyway, he confronted people, and people are celebrating him. In the Federalist, this is fascinating. The Southern Poverty Law Center, which is much like the ADL, is comprised of many Jewish leaders in that particular organization because they were tantamount to fighting discrimination back in the 60s, and mostly Jewish people were a part of this. Well, the SPLC has finally responded to Hamas's terrorism with a stealth-edited accusation that that Israel targets kids. God, 3 weeks let's see. 3 weeks after Hamas brutally murdered more than 1,400 Israelis, 24 Americans during a sneak attack, Southern Poverty Law Center president and CEO Margaret Huang published a 779-word statement lamenting all acts of hate and violence in the Israel-Hamas war. All acts of hate. A few days later, the activist group that made a brand out of tarnishing organizations with Christian missions or conservative ties covertly edited the statement to modify language that insinuated Israel intentionally attacked children in the Hamas-controlled Gaza Strip. In her statement posted on October 28th, Huang acknowledged that Hamas led an unconscionable attack against Israeli civilians, killing more than 1,000 people and kidnapping hundreds, but couched the SPLC's response by condemning Israel's retaliation against the terrorists. Quote, "The strategy has only continued as Palestinian civilians in Gaza, many of whom are children, have been killed by airstrikes and cut off from food, clean water, medical care, and life-saving supplies," Huang wrote. Yeah, because they blew up that hospital, right? This is a humanitarian crisis of unspeakable proportions. That, in my mind, is Hamas's fault. FAFO, that has already left thousands dead. Our hearts are with all those who are suffering. Well, there's a lot of families in Israel suffering too. And, if let's say that all of a sudden someone, a Mexican army came into Arizona and came in and just murdered 1,400 people and started attacking. Do you think the United States would respond? How would the United States respond? Would they respond with, we should probably have a ceasefire? I don't think so. The New York Post, anti-Israeli activists tearing down Hamas posters is anti-Semitism at its deepest level. New York City leaders say, oh, well, that's good. A Brooklyn man wearing a Palestinian scarf was arrested this week after getting into a caught-on-video scuffle on the Upper East Side while trying to callously rip down Israeli hostage posters. The latest incident is a disturbing spate that has been blasted as anti-Semitism and inhumanity at its deepest level. The man tried to reach over and grab a flyer Tuesday evening, only to be rejected by a group guarding the pole at 68th and Street and Lexington Avenue on the Upper East Side. And then, get the fuck out of here. One fed-up man shouted at Muhammad Kali. But anyway, there are some leaders in New York who are condemning this. And it's happening, well, they're putting up posters of the people who are kidnapped, and some people have been trying to take them down, and it's like, defacing them with Free Gaza. It's messed up. It's messed up. In the Daily Caller, the House has voted against censuring Rashida Tlaib for pro-Hamas rhetoric. There were several Republicans who voted, 22 Republicans voted with the Democrats on the motion to table the vote. 13 Republicans did not vote. The vote was 222 to 186. It was a resolution to censure Democratic Representative Rashida Tlaib, a member of the Squad, over her anti-Semitic beliefs, and it was tabled. Look, here's my. This is probably correct in one way. If it was censure her over her anti-Semitic beliefs, well, I don't believe in that. Okay, she can believe whatever the fuck she wants. If she does something against the ethics and or house rules, now you can question the fact of her helping lead this little protest that ended up occupying a building. Now that they could censure her over, but I don't think that's what they wrote in the censure resolution. this one, and I think it was Marjorie Taylor Greene. I introduced my resolution to censure Rashida Tlaib as privileged to force a vote in 2 legislative days, Greene wrote in the tweet after introducing the resolution. Tlaib, she did have this in the resolution. Tlaib led a pro-Hamas insurrection into the Capitol complex, has repeatedly displayed her anti-Semitic beliefs and shown hatred for Israel. She must be held accountable and censured. Okay, so if that was it, then they kind of failed here. But they're afraid to, and part of it is because, look, all the talk of insurrection, I think Marjorie Taylor Greene's just fighting back against that bullshit. But, so apparently it's okay for them to take over buildings. In the Daily Wire, Kamala Harris announces national strategy to combat Islamophobia in the wake of anti-Semitic threats. We've already followed that, but there's a full article on it in the Daily Caller. And same thing, Joe Biden. Wait a minute. This is good. This is good here. The Biden Justice Department has tapped an anti-Israel advocacy group that accuses the Jewish state of genocide to participate in a forum on the surge of hate crimes following Hamas's attack. The Arab American Institute joined the Justice Department's United Against Hate Forum Wednesday. The agency announced Attorney General Merrick Garland and Civil Rights Division Chief Kristen Clark led the event with leaders from several advocacy groups and 5 U.S. attorneys. The American Arab Institute, which was represented at the forum by its executive director, Maya Berry, supports economic boycotts of Israel and has accused the Israeli government of genocide and apartheid against Palestinians. The National Institute the Institute's founder, James Zogby, has referred to Israel as Nazis and defended the term Israel Firster, which white supremacists use to suggest American Jews are more loyal to Israel than the United States. So that's a good choice. That's a good choice to put on that panel. All right. Now, in other news that's not about Israel, James Comer, House Oversight Committee chairman, released bank records Wednesday showing President Joe Biden previously took a $40,000 check from his family members soon after they received money from the Chinese business associates. How many more of these do we have to come up with for people to believe it? People are still saying, "Oh no, it said it was a loan." They said he wrote on it, repayment of loan. Really? When did Biden have $40,000 to loan his brother? Because I remember he left the White House broke. So not only did he lie about his son Hunter's making money in China, but it also turns out that $40,000 in laundered Chinese money landed in Joe Biden's bank account in the form of a personal check, Comer said. In the video, first, Northern International Capital, a Chinese company associated with CEFC, wired $5 million to Hudson West 3, a joint venture established by Hunter Biden and a CEF associate. Then Hudson West sent $100,000 to an entity owned and controlled by Hunter Biden. Then next, Hunter Biden wired $150,000 to Lion Hall Group, a company owned by Joe Biden's brother James and sister-in-law Sarah Biden. Sarah Biden then withdrew $50,000 in cash from the Lion Hall Group. Later the same day, she deposited into her and James Biden's personal checking account. A few days later, Sarah Biden cut a check to Joe Biden for $40,000. The memo line of the check said loan repayment. That's just a convenient chain of events. No money laundering at all whatsoever. There's Democrats who know all about this, and they're waiting to get Joe Biden out of the paint. In fact, I think there was something about but then the White House dismisses latest Hunter Biden bombshell as lies, a conspiracy theory, and that's about the $40,000 check. So, of course, it's a conspiracy theory. It's going to be interesting when, Dean Phillips from Minnesota is running for president now, apparently, and I said this is probably going to open the floodgates. And watch. Some of this stuff is going to be too much to handle. And it's going to be like Lyndon Johnson. Remember Lyndon Johnson in 1968? He was having some controversies and shit. And he finally just said, you know what? I'm going to bow out. I know this ain't going to work. Expect Joe Biden. I said at the very first day he was elected, before he even became president, he was not going to last the full 4 years. Unless he has a major health problem in the next several months, looks like he's going to make my prediction wrong. However, I don't think he's going to be running for president. I think the drip has been going, and I think he's going to pull a Lyndon Johnson. He might have to, because the Democrats don't want him to run. And now you got the first Democrat who's not Bobby Kennedy Jr. Running. I think it's going to open a floodgate. So that's my prediction. Jeffrey Clark. Lawyers demand Fannie Willis grotesque abuse of prosecutorial power must be dismissed. Trump area Department of Justice official Jeffrey Clark's legal team filed a 39-page special appeal in the Fulton County Superior Court on Tuesday, demanding Fulton County District Attorney Fannie Willis dismiss her massive and grotesque abuse of prosecutorial power indictment against Clark over his First Amendment right to question the 2020 election due to lack of personal jurisdiction. Now, he's fighting the Georgia case using federal First Amendment law protection. There is zero allegation or evidence that Mr. Clark directly or directed any purposeful activity into the state of Georgia, the lawyers wrote. The inquiry ought to end here, but it gets worse. There is zero specific allegations or evidence that Mr. Clark agreed with any resident defendant doing with anything. An arm-waving general and conclusory allegation that all defendants conspired to unlawfully overturn the 2020 election is not sufficient to meet the threshold due process requirements for establishing personal jurisdiction. That's some legal mumbo jumbo for saying that, fuck you. That's what they said. So they're going to see what happens in that one. Now, here's an interesting one. Senator Josh Hawley is moving to reverse the Citizens United case. Now, Democrats have been bitching about Citizens United ever since the Supreme Court took that case and made, basically this is why there's so much dark money in politics. But the Democrats are the ones who benefited from by far the most. And so this is interesting to see a Republican go after Citizens United. Senator Josh Hawley, Republican of Missouri, is pushing legislation that would reverse the Supreme Court case Citizens United versus the FEC. FEC. Sorry, I'm not enunciating. My goal is to get corporate money out of our politics, the Missouri Republican said in an interview. Hawley says the unchecked corporate influence over politics and elections as a detriment to both American workers and democracy. Now that's fascinating. He's coming from the right, because most of the people on the right say, you know what? Wherever the money comes from, it's legal, and the courts agreed. And so it's interesting just to see a Republican attack this. So, but Democrats have been attacking this for years, but they benefit the most from it. It's hilarious watching them do that. All right. In PJ Media, New York Times has asked why fiery Iran hasn't killed all the Jews yet. Oh my God. What? New York Times, here it is. What does this say? Come on, X. Faster. After years of vowing to destroy Israel, Iran faces a dilemma. This is in the New York Times. With Israel bent on crushing Iran's ally, Hamas, Tehran must decide whether it and the proxy militias it arms and trains will live up to its fiery rhetoric. Wow! Now that's a headline. That is a headline. Holy. So it's almost like the New York Times is cheering them on to live up to their fiery rhetoric of their years of vowing to destroy Israel. Wow! That's insane. That is insane. How posters of kidnapped Israelis, and this is the other one. So this is another New York Times. How posters of kidnapped Israelis ignited a firestorm on American sidewalks. See, because you shouldn't be put up posters of kidnapped Israelis, because that would cause the firestorm. In the weeks since Hamas attacked Israel, flyers depicting the hostages have become ubiquitous, but in cities and on college campuses across the globe, anti-Israeli protesters have removed them. Oh, yes, they have. That's great, isn't it? And then here too, this is it from the New York Times. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office identified the women in the hostage video as these three people, calling the footage cruel psychological propaganda. In a statement, Netanyahu accused Hamas of war crimes and addressed the women. I embrace you, our heart is with you, and the rest of the hostages. And they add, it was unclear if Hamas forced the women to make the video. So that's just special. The New York Times seems to have a little bit of anti-Israeli sentiment here. It's weird, isn't it? Hello, Cannibalistic Wizard, by the way, and JB over in YouTube, and anyone else I've missed. Oh boy. Also, the LA Times owner's daughter says journalists should call Israel an apartheid state. How is it an apartheid state? I still haven't figured out what they mean. You mean because Gaza and Israel are two different entities? Or Gaza and the West Bank are two different entities? Because in Israel, the Arabs and Palestinians and whatever people who live in Israel are free to do what they do and go to work and be part of the government and all kinds of things. How can it be an apartheid state? No, it wasn't Israel who decided to create Gaza and the West Bank and give up the land, whatever, for a Palestinian state. Since Arafat was alive, they made the agreement to make a so-called Palestinian state. Is it the Israelis' fault that the Palestinians have fucked that up and haven't done with the billions of dollars of aid to improve their lot? And instead build more tunnels and buy more rockets and try to kill more Israelis? Whose fault is that? These people are so stupid. It's uncanny. A man in London was arrested for posting a video on Facebook in which he complained about Palestinian flags and said immigration to the UK was too high. Oh God. You can watch Paul Joseph Watson's video on that. Nothing to see here. Democrats continued attacks on American rights, from freedom of speech to the right to keep and bear arms. Yeah, they especially with the Second Amendment, Democrats are really trying to end one of the constitutional amendments, basically. In fact, Gavin Newsom has vowed to change the Second Amendment. New York Post reporter yells at Biden press secretary, calling her anti-democratic. Oh, let's hear this. We're going to finish with this.
Right, thanks, everybody. Anti-democratic to refuse questions from one of our country's 4 largest newspapers, Korean.
Okay, he's mad because she's not answering questions from the New York Post. It's funny. I'm surprised she still even calls on Ducey, because he rips her to shreds. He's embarrassing. Here, let's see. Here's what he's complaining about.
All right, you haven't called on me in 2 seasons, Korean.
And not calling on you today. Go ahead.
Right.
Go ahead, sir.
You should be ashamed of that.
Go ahead.
That shows disrespect to a free and independent
Go ahead.
media. It's black.
I'm going to
one of our country's largest and most widely read newspapers, Korean.
So anyway, she's been freezing out the New York Post for a while for whatever reason. I'm surprised she calls on Ducey still. And the migrants, there's a whole nother caravan of, it was 3,000 a few days ago. Now it's 5,000. Now there's 7,000 people in a caravan coming towards the border crossing that is most widely used. And apparently the migrant caravan leaders have been mocking Biden too, saying that Americans have been duped. He said the leader of a migrant caravan heading towards the United States mocked President Joe Biden's weak border policies and said the United States is being duped. Irina Mujica told Real America's Voice on Monday that Biden has lost control of the border. I believe the Biden administration has dropped the ball on immigration. A lot of countries are fueling this immigration crisis. Is not a crisis. It is a lot of the people are being in harsh conditions. But a lot of the countries are fueling this immigration by providing, in a way, transporting people, letting people in, and using them as a way to make sure there are a lot of this immigration. Okay, it's kind of broken because they were translating him. Basically, he's making fun of Biden, saying, "Oh yeah, it is an open borders policy." All right, there's a bunch of other headlines. I can't get to them. I wish I could, but I'm out of time. So look, hello, Pissed Off Shih Tzu. How you doing? There's a bunch, like I said, there's a lot more. Check out the links today in the tabs. Lots of articles about many different things that I didn't quite get to. I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks for being here on the Morning Night Live. I'm here Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, roughly. As you know, I've been a little tardy lately. And thank you to our sponsor of the day, Cryptic, with the big bullet in the tip jar. I appreciate you all. Thanks for joining in the chat. Thanks for sharing the show. Thanks for hitting that like button. If you haven't done so, do it now. I gotta go. My name is Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Have a great day. Hey, this is Dawg Knight, and thank you for watching today on the Dawg Knight Channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.